explain how to square up a steel frame. First off, I'm just going to start with this low sidewall. Yeah. So what we like to do is, because this is the simplest wall on the back, simple framing, we get our X bracing, and this is where we started because all of our work area is on this, focused on this side. We've got some clay pits, there's septic tanks back here, no driving. So we work from this back side out with the slab hanging the frame. That way we could carry all the long material in and not get in front of the post. So first of all, I get these cables in here in the middle, and I level this wall from left to right. That corner down there and the corner here matters the most, because this is the front of the store, and I have a veneer front up to 10 foot and then metal above the veneer the rest of the way. On two sides of this store, I've got the brick veneer, the front door, and then this whole wall here is brick, and this is the entrance to the lot on this side. So what matters most in this building is these three corners, because this is what's going to be seen. This has to be level, and the steel frame doesn't actually always come out level. Sometimes concrete's a little off, your anchor bolts, whatever. It's engineered on paper, and the architect on paper it works perfect in the ideal world. On the job site, it's a little different. Second connection is this end wall, light framed end wall, small columns. So I need these cables to set these purlins on the roof. Without these cables, this wall shifts really easy. The metal, the screw down metal, the siding that goes on this is kind of the structure and the shear of this wall. And without these cables now, without that metal, this wall is very weak. It will hold up the weight, but I need some X bracing. So I put these cables here in this wall. Second, I get this frame leveled from front to back, and that should make this corner level perfect both ways, because I got the back side wall level, I've got the end wall level, and so now I've got a corner to build off of square. I hang my frame, get all my frame hung, all finger tight, 1/2-inch bolts, put my bolts in place. This gets a lot of the rack out, but my frame's going to stand it perfect. So I frame everything while I can move it, but I've still got the end wall here and the end wall, the low side wall here, that is tight and level, or square, or level from left to right, not necessarily from front to back. When I put my rafter connections to the columns, this does a lot of the leveling from front to back. If it is done correctly in the shop, these plate connections will level this frame from front to back by itself, and I have to do very little on the pulling, and my concrete is level, my anchor bolts are in place the right way. Next, I go to the roof, and as you can see, I've got some cables X bracing all the way up the engineer has designed. So now that I've got this wall, this back side wall level, I can start pulling off of it with the first set of X's. And as you can see, I've got these interior columns, and that's exactly where the connection point to the first set of X's is on this building. Also, I've got an end wall column in line where this cable is. You can follow it all the way down to the end wall. Well, being that I have my brick veneer on this building and it's got to be perfectly level, I want this column level more than I want the other opposite end level. But I'm still gonna go through and check with a level on every column. Most of the time, there's one or two that's not perfect, but I want to get the most of them level that I can. And the reason they're not just exactly perfect is because anchor bolts get out. The top, engineered, the bolts, computer punched. Yes, they're gonna be perfect, but the bottom, the bolts might have got out a little bit, so that's created a little bit of off levelness on that column. But I've got on this building 4 out of 5 level, and what has happened is one of these interior columns is off level. But on this particular building, both end walls, the end wall column, the second one, that end, and at this end is level. So then, now that I know they are level, I've taken this first set of X's, and I've squared off of there. That is the start of squaring my cube. A building is basically a cube, and I've got my sidewall level. Now I'm getting on my frame on the roof, and with these rafters, they can rack in and out. So I'm using that X to pull them back. The way I'm checking that is when my end wall column is on the level. Once I get the first set of X's squared off and level, both end wall columns level, then I move to the second set of X's. The second set of X's is going to move the third column on each end wall. And I put my level there because I have no interior columns at this connection. It's hard to see, but my second set of X's here stops in the middle of the frame, but they're in line with that end wall column. So I check my end wall column at each end, and there again on this end, my brick veneer, I need a perfect level, and my front door is in that middle bay. Let me show you. And being my doors here, my brick veneers here, front of the buildings here, I want it level more than I want the back end wall. And in this building, the back end wall is leaning out 1/4 of an inch, well, 1/8 of an inch in a 4-foot level. The front is perfect. Checked it in 2 places, put a 4-foot level on the bottom, on the top, and it's worked out. Because I've got so many guys here, and we haven't had time to put an extension in the front wall, you see we've got a load of girts because of that brick veneer. We've got them every 2 foot. That gives a point for the brick to place its strapping. I've got a guy working on that. He's got to cut a bunch of holes in all these Z's to get the cables in there. And being that that's happening, I was still able to square my roof off of this back sidewall. And I got this last set of X's because I've had it racked from left to right in the roof with these cables. I was able to pull that front wall with that last cable express, and that's got my roof square, got my front set and level. I did need a little help, so here in the corner, I took my forklift and I pushed it level to get it in place. A lot easier to thread these bolts on these cables in the roof rather than with a 12-inch wrench trying to pull this whole building thread by thread. I pushed it with the forklift, and there again, this is my front corner. The entrance is on this side, the front door is on this side. That corner matters most out of the whole building and any other part. So I pushed it level. And now that I'm looking, we've got a set of expression that goes in this wall that will rack it from front to back. Right now it is standing level. It just worked out that way. Everything's in line and it's standing level, but we need the expression in there to hold it until we get that shear wall on. Especially we have no panels screwed to this wall except from 10 foot up. There's not a lot of shear strength in it, so those cables are going to be the shear. The brick veneer is going to be in front, tied with brick ties, but doesn't still give this steel wall a lot of shear strength with the brick as much as it would with if you screwed on the metal. We get these cables in, we won't have to pull or tighten on them because we've got it all level with the help of the lift. Then we'll go back to this end wall and put our set of cables in here, giving us our durability, and our frame is square. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, come back for the next video and some more learning tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. I told a story. I'm here in the front corner. My guys had told me they checked the level, but they pretty much lied. There it is. and it's off. So we do need to get these cables in place. But because I've got the rest of it squared, I'm gonna go ahead and start tightening the frame from the second frame back, jump back to this wall and square it left and right, which wasn't done yet. And then I'll tighten up all the bolts. Once I get all those bolts tight and the cables in, it'll pretty much stand by itself until I get that sheeting applied.